disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me as always, my podcast partner, Mike Gibbs. What's up, Mike?
Mean woo, Gene. Let me tell you, boy, this is going to be a special podcast, and we are drinking the Le Bubbly for the Le Champion. But let me tell you why. Not because of the tournament, like you would think. But because ShootFighter's first 7 minutes of ShootFighter is better than all the movies we reviewed together. So I'm really excited to jump into ShootFighter.
Right.
Get going on the ShootFighter. So let's start it, brother.
Let me finish my intro.
I'm just hyped, man. I was into this movie, Gene.
I
watched
it
3 times.
I'm on 3 too, man. All right.
Oh.
All right. For those of you listening, this is your first time with us. I want you to know we're members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Mondays, I guess sometimes we got Raw with Mimi and Lump. On Tuesday, CTE, Chris Travis Experience. Wednesday is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Eugene and Mike. And Thursdays, you can get the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on social media on the Martial Arts Internet Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. What's up? Can you hear me?
I lost
went out on me.
Yeah, you were scrambled. It sounded like you was like cooking something. But we're good, man. I'm good, man. How about you?
Well, you know. All right. I'm good, man. First, I need the dominant performance on the tournament. You still can't hear?
Thank you.
You
no,
hear me?
You're cutting in and out a little bit.
Man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Hope it ain't the internet. Anyway, we're gonna keep going. Skip it.
All right.
Put it together.
Go.
All right. Like I said, congratulations on the tournament. How you feel?
Good, man. It was fun. Like I had posted, it gave us something to do in this crazy time we're in the world, and it was fun. A little strategic with Travis. So I'm sure we'll get into that later. But, man, I'm excited about ShootFighter, Gene.
Yeah. So let me ask you this before we jump into ShootFighter. Are you going to have a parade? You going to have the parade in Indiana? You going to have it in Michigan?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We might have, I'll be honest with you, we might have to do a 3-city tour, with Dayton, Cincinnati, Southfield, and New York, because those 3 all-stars brought it home for us consistently. So they might get a parade in their own city. Hey, and we might go to Minnesota just to rub it in Alex's face with my no brain decisions, he said. So yep.
Like I said, congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel you, man. ShootFighter was really, really good. I mean, I was impressed, man.
Me too.
Man, that was, you know what? Honestly, too, man, I was thinking when I was watching this movie, I was thinking like, I like 98% of the movie. Okay, there's a couple of things that we're gonna get into later on that I explain, right? Mm-hmm. But this could have easily been the epilogue to the Karate Kid movie. Because you had William Zabka in it from the Karate Kid. He played Johnny Lawrence, and you also had Martin Cove, who was in the Karate Kid movies. He was John Kreese, and in this movie he's Mr. Lee. But he was pretty much playing the same type of role. Mm-hmm. So, and when I saw the movie, I'm thinking like, okay, like this could have been Johnny opening up his own karate school somewhere, changing his life around, Sensei Kreese then went to Mexico, still trying to act wild. They could have easily did that.
It's funny you said that. I had the same thoughts watching it So I said, let me look at the directors and who produced it, and I'm like, because I had the same thoughts, very Karate Kiddish, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
the fight choreographer was Pat Johnson, who did the
Okay.
Karate Kid. So I
Oh,
don't know if
really?
that was yes,
Was
there
that the
was
guy that
this.
was the center referee in the Karate Kid?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ah, okay.
hmm
Okay. All right. So yeah. Okay, well
There
that's
was a
that's
little link there, so we do.
yeah.
You and I are on the same page. There's a little link
Okay.
somehow.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's jump into it. The opening scene, we open up with another shot of Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Man, I don't understand. Like, how come every movie takes us to Asia? Either
Bolo.
uh, right. You know what?
Bolo.
I don't know if we was on the podcast last time, and I asked you, what did Bolo does he speak English fluently?
I don't
Because I
know.
was wondering because I saw that he was starring in this movie, and I was thinking like, well, man, I ain't never seen him talk. Like, how can he carry a whole movie?
Right.
You
I'm gonna
know?
look it up while we're starting about the scenes because I'm curious.
Okay. So I saw that he was starring in it, and I was like, huh, that's gonna be interesting. But then as the movie got going, I was wondering who is the star of the movie because it could have been
Right.
Bolo, it could have been William Zabka, and it also could have been
Mm-hmm.
Mike Bernardo. I mean, they all were, they just weren't side characters. Like everybody in that movie could have been the star. You know.
Yeah, there was like four main roles, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching this movie when I was young because Mike Bernardo and Hakeem was in the
Mm-hmm.
movie. That was why I watched the movie. But
Man, he
I seen
surprised me
other
when he
martial
showed up.
artists. I seen other martial artists like
Okay.
too, even in the background.
This is my first time
Pops
seeing it.
Kranzu was in it, who
Okay.
had a karate school in California in Sherman Oaks. So
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of sport karate people in it. So it was a
I
good
was
pick, man.
man when I mean you picked it. I mean, but when Hakeem
I
showed up,
picked
I was
it.
surprised. Yeah, you picked it. It wasn't my pick. It was your pick. I picked the last one.
Oh, good. It's your turn this week.
But when Hakeem showed up, man, I was like, oh, that guy. I ain't seen him since WMAC Masters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been a minute since I've seen him. Is he still in martial arts? Is he still teaching or going to
I
tournaments or
don't
anything?
know. I don't know. You had to ask Trav or
My uncle.
Seawalk or your uncle.
Yeah.
He would know. I know I have a videotape of from like 88, 89, him and your uncle banging in a high
Mm-hmm.
school gym somewhere. But it was
Mm-hmm.
Trans World against, I think it was DKT or whatever they were called. Man, it was
Good fight,
fighting.
huh?
Yeah, it was real good.
Okay. All right, so let's jump into the movie. Okay, it opens up, like I said, in Hong Kong, and a tournament is going on. It looks like another one of these underground tournaments. And Bolo is fighting. We see his friend come in to watch. We didn't even get the friend name. He was just a friend, watching.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also see Lee, who was played like I said by Martin Cove. He's watching, and two guys are talking. They say if Lee wins, this will change ShootFighter forever. Um, Bolo's name in the movie is Shingo, right? So he's fighting and he wins his fight. People are placing bets, and Lee nods at the two men. Shingo walks off the mat and he talks to his friend. Now, the moment he starts talking to his friend, I knew what was about to happen because his friend was a little bit, he was too into himself,
Yeah.
And once he started, feeling like he's the man and I'm about to win this fight, I said, okay, he's about to get messed up. He's gonna either end up going to the hospital or he's gonna die. Something like
Right.
that is gonna happen. He's just too full of himself.
Did you
Right?
notice in the opening fight scene though that I'm like, man, this guy looks familiar to me. And do you remember Joe San from the
No.
UFCs, the little guy that came out on the with Chemo? He was Chemo's manager. They came out on the cross. He was like a short, little, chubby Asian guy. He was like
No.
Chemo's manager, and he that was him. He was in the
Okay.
movie because I'm
Okay.
like,
No,
man,
I
that guy
didn't.
looks familiar. Yeah, and then
You
I
looked
found
it
out
up.
he was in both movies, and it was before he went. He's in prison now, but for a bunch of bad stuff. But I was like, man, that guy looks familiar, and then it was him. But
Okay.
yeah, for the UFC fans out there, that's Joe San in the first fight.
Okay. All right. So then let me jump back in here, and it says, his friend once he said that they looks like they're going to be in the finals. Shingo's not too sure. He doesn't want him to overlook Lee. And tell him, you're not in the finals yet. Friend says, don't worry about it. I'm going to get out here and beat Lee. He gets in the ring. He's wrong. He gets beat up. He gets Lee with a couple good shots, and then Lee takes over. Lee's winning. He knocks him to the ground. He gets on top of him, and then gets like in this chokehold. And the referee jumps up and gets in the ring. He's trying to stop him. He pushes the referee. I don't understand. Like, I thought that Lee wanted to win, but then he goes and gets himself disqualified, and then he just rips this guy's neck out.
Straight Roadhouse. It must have been something about the movies during that time. Roadhouse ripping throats out. This movie's ripping throats out.
Yeah.
It must have been something to do in the 90s.
So I'm thinking, like, what's going on? Like, you beat the dude. You're about to win. Like, why do you have to rip his throat out? And everybody is surprised. Everybody is silent. They're just paying attention. And then he points to Lee and says, "Now I fight you." But then the referee tells him that no, you're out of shoot fighting. And Mr. Lee says that the only way to fight is fight to the death to determine the true champion. What that's crazy. that is really crazy.
Yeah.
The referee tells him that he's never going to fight in shoot fighting again. Mr. Lee points at Shingo and says it's not over. And then the credits start. So I was like, wow, that was a badass start to this movie. So when all that happened, I sat up. I was like, wow, this is deep.
The first 7 minutes were fire.
Right. Then we leave Hong Kong instantly. After the credits, we're in LA, Los Angeles. And there's William Zabka's character is Ruben. He's teaching his students, and they're doing forms. And he said basic form number 1.
Basic form 1. And they had little tuxedo patches on.
Yeah.
I was like, man,
wow.
they're getting it.
But I was impressed that they said basic form number 1. They didn't say whatever I don't even know the names of forms.
Like
so
Geisha 1 or
something like that. But he didn't say that. He said basic form number 1. I was like, yeah,
Teaching it the right way.
That's right, So then we see Nick pull up. See him pull up on his motorcycle, and that's Mike Bernardo's character.
Let me just say that was a 87 Electric Glide Ironhead. That boy was bad. Man. That motorcycle's sweet. Mr. Bernardo came in hot. That was probably his. I bet you that was Mr. Bernardo's motorcycle in real life, man. He's rolling around London with that bike still, boy. That's how sweet that motorcycle is. I love motorcycles, but I paid attention to that.
When he pulled up, I said, man, he could have been Casey Jones in the Turtle movies. That's the first thing I thought when he pulled up.
Oh no!
I said he could have been Casey Jones. He had this, even though Casey don't have the slick back hair, but he could have took the.
Oh my gosh! Game over, man. You did.
He did, and man, I've known Mike Bernardo since I was a little kid, but I probably really haven't even had like a long conversation. I know me and him have never sat around and talked one-on-one. Maybe at I know we judged some forums before.
I have too. Yeah, same.
Yeah, but I know me and him have never just sat and had a conversation like I have with a lot of other competitors.
Yeah, he was the man to me growing up. I'll be honest. I used to like a guy named Cesar Borkowski from Canada, and then I saw Mike Bernardo, and it was a wrap for me. I was like, man, that dude's sweet. I like him, man. His form is nice.
That's what I was saying. I only known him for forms. So in this movie is the first time I really seen him. I never really seen him fight.
He could fight though. When he was on Metro, he used to fight middleweight, and he could fight.
I've never seen him fight. I've only seen him do forms and weapons. That was it.
He's one of the few. Like I don't like I love sport karate, but there's not a lot of people like I want my picture with. And at the last WKC Worlds, I had my picture with him and your uncle, because those are my father's two favorite sport karate competitors of all time, and I actually gave it to him for Christmas.
Oh, that's sweet. You put him in a frame. You put it in a
Yeah,
frame.
yeah.
So he did a good job acting in this movie.
Real good.
The only thing that I saw is like his facial expressions never changed though. He had the
That's him
same
in real life, though.
He had the same face the whole time in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was one scene that he kind of smiled, but other than that, he had the same look on his face. But he did a real good job. I was like, wow, I'm impressed. You know. Okay, let's jump back into the movie. So he pulls up to the karate school. He comes in. Now Ruben's girlfriend Cheryl is Nick's sister. So he comes in. He gives her a hug. They speak. And Ruben comes over. He stops teaching. He dismisses his class. He comes over and speak. And then Cheryl leaves. She goes home to cook dinner and get ready for a little party, welcome home party for Nick, because he had been gone for a little while. Mm-hmm. So then what he does is he pulls out a cigarette on the mat. He walks onto the mat and pulls out a cigarette.
Now, was he serious, or were they just, is that how they joked, did you think?
I thought that was serious. Because
no martial arts pulling out a cigarette in my school.
Exactly. Nobody's doing that in real life. Pulling out a, you know, that's like disrespectful to the school. And
no, we have a problem.
Yeah. But, you know, when he does that, Ruben kicks the cigarette out of his mouth. And it goes flying. And then he wants to show off. And then Nick wants to show off. So he takes the carton of cigarettes and places it on Ruben's head. And then Roundhouse kicks it off. So they like trying to show their skills with each other. And then Ruben picks up the cigarettes and then throws it up in the air and does a jump crescent kick. They just trying to show off to each other that they still got it or whatever. And then that's when Shingo comes out, and then we find out that Ruben is Shingo's student. I was wondering if Shingo was a part owner of that school, or if that was his school, or I didn't really understand the relationship with that. But as it went on, I just assumed that maybe this was just Ruben's school and Shingo was just, you know, he would just come by and help. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they kind of get into that later, though, when he goes away. When
they
go to Mexico.
Yeah. So then also, I was kind of just assuming that Cheryl handles the business part of the business. Like, you know, maybe paperwork and answering the phone calls and doing billing. And that's what it kind of seemed like. Like they were partners in this school. That's what it kind of seemed like to me. So then Ruben takes Nick over and introduces him to Shingo. Says, "This is my instructor." I think he called him something Sifu.
Sifu.
Yeah.
The
and
Chinese.
He said, what, yeah. So he said, "What is that?" And he was like, "Oh, that's my teacher." He introduces him. And now Ruben is in training for the Nationals. And he's about to have his session with Shingo. And you know, he's about to start his training. And then Nick says, "Hey, why don't we just get out of here?"
It was like the day before, too.
Yeah. And then Ruben looks at Shingo and says, "Well, you know, what do you think?" And he gives him the okay. Like, what instructor would have done that? No, you know, you go hang out. Don't worry about training today. You know, go relax. Go eat a pizza, get some beers, go play some pool. You know, we'll pick this up later. Like, no instructor's going to say that.
None I've ever met.
So they leave, and that's exactly what they do. They go to a bar. No, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. Next scene, we go back to Mexico. And it looks like it's a shoot fighting event. And we find out that Mr. Lee, since he got kicked out of shoot fighting in Hong Kong, he's in Mexico. He set up his own shoot fighting tournament event. And he walks into the arena and gets a standing ovation. And then there's someone in the ring, and he announces, like, let the competition begin. So we get that established. This guy gets in the ring. He's doing some flips, doing all types of stuff. And then that's when we see Hakeem. Now, did you notice that they did not give Hakeem Austin a name? It was just, he didn't have a name at all.
It was just Le Champion. That's it, man. He didn't get nothing.
So he gets in the ring. They're fighting. They have weapons. They picked up weapons. And then they fighting each other with weapons. Hakeem's clear. Yeah, he's clearly getting the best of this guy. He's beating up. And then they put the weapons down. They go hand to hand contact. And then he eventually picks up a weapon. And he chokes the guy out, and then he breaks his neck. And the crowd is bloodthirsty. They're going wild.
Yeah.
They were showing shots of people, and those people look sick. They look sick in the head to me.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the second best of the best. The second best of the best movie. The way that they showed the crowd, and those are bloodthirsty people also. So now let's go back to LA. We see Ruben and Nick, they're playing pool and talking, and then some rednecks come in to the bar, and then they're watching them play pool, and then one of them asks Ruben about Cheryl. And then clearly he, lets it be known that he wants to violate Cheryl. So now we know that these people, they clearly know who Ruben is, and they have a problem with him. Anytime these guys showed up in the movie, it was weird to me. It was stupid.
Yeah, because they just got beat up.
Exactly.
Like they were not, like if they were supposed to, we find out, what they were there for, and I'll let you tell that. But it was, Loan Shark. Basically, they're the collectors. Mm-hmm. Like I'd borrowed $1 million from them dudes and not even worried about paying it back because those guys those guys got work every time they came to collect.
Every time they showed up, they just got beat up. And I'm like, what? At one point I was thinking like, well, how come the guy just doesn't show up himself to get his money or find out what's going on?
Because it's probably tougher.
Yeah, because these guys are getting beat up. They never really said this, but I was wondering how much money did he borrow from them?
I thought that, and I assumed it was less than $3,000 because he was excited to go get that $3,000.
Yes,
with him and Nick. So I'm like, man, what did he borrow? Like $1,500.
Right. So
it wasn't a lot.
So the rednecks, so they're getting ready to walk out the bar, and then rednecks say something insulting. I'm not going to repeat. And then the fight breaks out. They beat these guys up. Mm-hmm. And then they walk out of the bar. And then, now Ruben is pretty high off that fight. And then he tells Nick that was his first fight. And I was like, wow, that was his first fight ever in life, And, Nick tells him, don't get too high off of it or else you might have to leave town like I did. So then we find out that obviously Nick was into something, and that's why he has been gone for the last 2 years, That's weird, man, to get run out of town like that, man. Man, I ain't never had nothing like that happen. I couldn't imagine that. Anyway, Nick asks who they were, and then Ruben tells him that he's borrowed money from their boss, and he wanted to collect. I guess money had been tight, and he had to borrow the money, or else he was going to lose his karate school. Nick asked him if Cheryl knew, and he said that she didn't know.
He told her it was from his savings.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, because I was wondering, like, if she's doing the billing, like, how can he come home with a lump sum of money?
They said that. Okay,
all right. So then they go back to the next scene. They get back to Ruben and Cheryl's place, and she is pretty upset. I guess they're running late or whatever. So she is upset. Now she thinks that it's Nick's fault that they're late. And, she's upset that he has been gone for 2 years. And then she's worried about him. But Ruben, he just kind of says, don't worry about it. Just help me get ready. I have a fight tomorrow. I'm going to fight in the tournament.
This is the part I had a question about. Was he there for his birthday? That's why he came back? Because it was his birthday. That's what the cake said.
I missed that. Okay, the birthday. Yeah. Okay, I thought it was. Well, I just thought they was just celebrating him coming home. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So he just came home, and then he just got drug into this. That's crazy. I'd never go see my sister again.
Yeah, because she was pissed.
Yeah.
it didn't seem like they came home too late. Like it was still light. Like after they got done fighting at the bar and they got in the car, it was still light. They didn't go home and it was dark, unless they went someplace that was edited out in the movie that we didn't see. But to us, it just seemed like they went to the pool place and went home, and then
back in the day, you used to get in a fight at a bar. You had to go to Ramshorn afterwards. Then you went home. That's what you did.
Dog, you know what, man? I just went to Ramshorn for the first time. Maybe about 7-8 months ago. I've seen this place all my life around here, but I ain't never. It's just like signing the beef carver. I ain't never been in there.
You never been to signing the beef carver?
No, man, no, I have not.
Let me just give you the rundown on Ramshorn real quick.
It was good when I went there, Ramshorn.
So, Ramshorn was the after bar spot. Like if you left Pontiac. Actually, one time me and Ski went there before. Like I've drugged Ski down there before the Ramshorn. And
there's a lot of Ramshorn.
Yeah, but that way used to be the spot after the bars.
Okay.
Until the National Coney chains came and then knocked everyone out. So there's your history lesson on Metro Detroit area restaurants.
That's right. If you guys come to Detroit, you got to make sure you go to one of the Coney Islands and try some chili cheese fries, a chili dog, or a loose burger. You know, any of that stuff. You know, you're gonna enjoy yourself. Miss that. Stomach might be messed up in the morning, but all right, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna live. It's gonna be okay.
We don't have that down here.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people. That's just the Detroit thing or Michigan thing.
Yeah,
Coney Island.
That's why I'm skinnier down here.
But it's good, people. So if you come to Detroit, Michigan, or anywhere in this area, you got to make sure that you go to a Coney Island. Anytime people come here that's visiting, I always make sure I take them to Coney.
Yeah.
Okay. So now it's the tournament. Now this is a normal karate tournament, something that. You know, I'm about to back that up. It's not like a normal tournament. It's a normal. No, it's not the Nationals. It's not the Nationals. This
was their Nationals.
It's not the Nationals. Because they talk about that later. They talk about the Nationals later. Because remember, Shingo starts training Nick for the Nationals later on. But we'll get to that. That's going to be in our second half.
Right.
That's right. This is just a tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's not. They should have made this more realistic. Everybody, we all know, especially probably right now at this point, only people probably listen to this podcast are other martial artists, and we know that at tournaments, everybody is not nicely sitting in the bleachers watching quietly.
Yeah, man. There was like 12 people there. It was like, I mean, it was a small tournament.
But people were not in the aisles. People were not on the gym floor. People were not standing around the ring. People were just nicely in the bleachers clapping when someone scored a point. It was nobody yelling out any instructions or, sidekick. It was none of that.
That's how karate tournaments used to be, though.
Oh, man. That seemed like a nice, boring time.
Yeah, that tournament was the size of the Super Grands. There was like 40 people.
You find a way to sneak a little shot at them every time I see.
Man, dude's weird, man.
Okay, so we see the competitors in the locker room. Actually, you know what? I mean, back up before we go through the tournament. There's a competitor. The next scene is a competitor, and he's in the locker room, and he looks injured. He's actually been fighting in Tijuana, Mexico. He won his fight, but his face is all messed up, and he's scared. He says he doesn't want to continue, and these henchmen come into the locker room, and he says, I'm not happy about this. I'm scared. I don't want to go back into the ring. And then they laugh at him, and then they beat him up. And they beat him up bad.
Mm-hmm.
This one guy, this big goon, smashes him against the lockers, and then puts his head in between the door and the locker, and it slams it shut and knocks the guy out and leaves.
Hey, didn't that goon look like a cross between Lou Ferrigno and King Cockrell? I said, man, if King Cockrell and Lou Ferrigno had
Lou
a baby.
Ferrigno.
It's his goon.
He was a big guy, man. He needed a haircut. I know that. Okay, now we get to the tournament, and Ruben is fighting. He wins his match. Then Nick fights. He wins his match. And then Cheryl's girlfriend arrives. Her name is Jill. And then Cheryl introduced her to Nick, and you can instantly see the chemistry between them two. So I'm thinking like, okay, they're going to eventually hook up. This is what I'm thinking. But she seemed weird to me, man. I'm like, man, this is a weird chick.
And she was from another. I think she was from London.
Okay.
From England, because his sister is from England or whatever, and she was coming to visit her. They said. So I assumed she was from England.
But she worked for Shingo. So yeah.
Did I remember something?
Yeah, you did. Because after they fought, so then Ruben and Nick had to fight each other. Since they both when they fight, they had to fight each other. And that kind of reminded me of me and Ski, because we had a fight one time in Buffalo, New York, and we both were fighting for first and second. And our thing was, okay, I'm gonna score a point, then you score a point. I'm gonna score a point, then you score a point. And then we were supposed to both be tied at 4, and then whoever won. You know, I ended up winning, but I kind of cheated. It wasn't my fault though. It wasn't my fault. You know, I scored the first one, he scored, and I went. He scored again, so I was up 4-3, and he was about to get his 4th point.
You kicked him.
No. My uncle came to the ring. He was pissed. He was like, Eugene, fight! He yelling at me. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I went in and hit him with the back fist one. First place. He was pissed. I'm like, dirty, hey, Rick said score. He told me to score. I had to go. Look, I'd rather have Ski mad at me than my uncle. I'm not having that. You know, I couldn't deal with it. So anyway, after they fought each other, then that's when they all came over. Nick wasn't mad that Ruben won. They were okay. And then Shingo came over and congratulated all of them. And then they asked Jill to go to dinner with them. And she said, well, if Shingo gives me the night off. And he gave her the okay sign. So then that's when I knew. Weird. You missed that part?
No, I got that part, but I don't know why I thought she was visiting her.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Maybe my creative mind took over. I don't know.
Now, this was also weird in the movie because this was really strange. This must have been a messed up on the editing part. Because the next scene, so we see them talking after the tournament, right? Mm-hmm. The next scene, we see Mr. Lee. He's looking at a picture of Shingo, Ruben, Nick, the girls, right? And he's talking with his friends. And he says, Shingo, I found you at last. He tells the henchmen to bring Nick and Ruben to Mexico. Now, when the tournament was going on, when Nick and Ruben were fighting, one of the henchmen was in the stands.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now, then this scene here, he was in the office. I think it was him in the office with them.
I thought, yeah.
Yes, and okay, so he's saying, okay, it'll be difficult to get them to come. Mr. Lee doesn't care. He wants them to fight. He wants them to fight on his team, this guy's team. These people really don't get names. You have to really pay attention or look people up in order to get names. So he said, I want him to fight on your team in the preliminaries. He's pissed off at Shingo. I have no idea why Mr. Lee is pissed off at Shingo. Like, dude, you killed his friend. He should be pissed at you. You know, why are you pissed at him? Because you got kicked out of the ShootFighter. That was strange. Well, anyway, his hand, he also had a cast on his hand. Now, he had this cast on his hand at the beginning of the movie also. And they was alluding to that Shingo had something to do with it.
With the hand being messed up,
But they never explained it. They never said anything about that.
It wasn't like a prosthetic or nothing either for the listeners. It was just like a brace looking type thing.
Yeah. But he had, like I said, he had that on at the beginning of the movie. And then he was mad that the elders, we find out that the elders and Shingo, he says the elders and Shingo had him exiled from shoot fighting in Hong Kong. That's why he was down there in Mexico. But then he looks at his cast on his forearm and says that he can't forget this. So I'm thinking like, okay, something must have happened before the beginning of the movie that we just weren't privy to. We didn't find out.
But he did it.
But then the next scene, we see the guy, Ruben and Nick are coming out the locker room, and the guy is there talking to them. So I was like, wait a minute, are you in Mexico with Mr. Lee, or are you here, or was that a flashback? So they didn't explain that part really well. That was really. It could have been a flashback because he had the picture. He had the picture of all of them. Yeah. So I don't know that maybe they just messed up right there. Well, anyway, this guy, we find out his name a little bit later. I just called him Henchman. He just congratulated Nick and Ruben. Tells them that their talents can make them wealthy men. He wants them to work for his promoter, his boss down in Mexico. They're always looking for new talent. And then he tells them that his employer will pay them $1,500 a win or lose a day down there. When he said that, their eyes instantly woke up.
That's a lot of money in '93.
Yeah, I know. I looked it up. It's like $2,600. That is not $1,500 now. It's $26 for one day. Whether you lose or win, I'll go right now. Out of shape and everything. I'll go right now and compete.
Not me. They had tunfas and nunchucks and all kinds of stuff. Ain't nobody hitting me with that for no $2,600, man.
But you know what? But they don't know that, and that doesn't happen in the preliminaries. But then also,
ain't nobody giving you $2,600 just to show up, man. You know you're gonna get hit with something.
And that's how Nick was thinking also. So what Nick says is, he asked for $3,000 each. He didn't want the 15. He doubled it. He says that before the guy leaves. And they asked him what type of fighting it was, and he said shoot fighting. They had never heard of it. He said it's just in Mexico and around the world. It hasn't made it here to the U.S. yet. But then, he kind of smiled at him when he said that he wanted the 3,000. He smiled at them. He gave them a tape, said, watch the tape. I know you're
they didn't blink about it.
No. Now, during this time they're talking, Shingo comes out and he's watching. He's paying attention to what's going on. He doesn't say anything. He really doesn't know what's going on, but he's watching. He's watching them from a distance. The next scene, they're watching the tape. The girls aren't really interested in all at all. It kind of looked like pro wrestling because I saw a guy doing drop kicks. We saw some slams.
But you see that guy later on. He's doing the wrestling moves in the ring.
Oh, I didn't pay much attention to him.
Yeah, he's wearing the yellow pants. You'll see him later in the film.
Is that the same guy that Ruben ended up fighting in the first fight? His first fight when he goes down there?
No, because that guy was doing like jujitsu stuff.
Okay,
this guy is like doing, leapfrogs and stuff.
Yeah, wrestling.
But the girls, the one girl, I forget her name.
Jill.
The girl, Jill. I don't say that name. She went in the kitchen. See, it fucks me up even saying that name. She went in the kitchen.
My drink, man.
Shit, that's the devil's name, boy.
I'm glad I didn't take a sip right there. I would have messed up my microphone.
Yeah, see. But she went in the kitchen and she asked, what is this thing they're watching in there? So she was intrigued by it.
Yeah. But Cheryl tells her it's not a martial art. It's not a martial art. She's not impressed with it.
Yeah, she's a dojo mom.
Right. Ruben is amazed, says it doesn't look real, but Nick doesn't believe Ruben can do it. And one night, $3,000, they can't turn that money down.
I know, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, for one day's work.
I still ain't doing it.
And then, Ruben says, well, now we get to find out, who's really best between us. I'm thinking, why is that even a thing? Why are you guys even still thinking about beating each other? I would be thinking about just winning the money.
Yeah. Let's run through this.
Right. The next scene we get to an office. setting, and it's a whole bunch of important people. And then we see Hakeem come in, and they're clapping for him. He gets awarded $250,000, and they say that he's the champion. I thought his role would have been bigger because of who he was, and he was the champion and everything. But later on in the movie, when we get to the second half of the movie, like, it's kind of a letdown for him.
It is.
I was like, man, that was weird. But anyway, that, like I said, I like 98% of the movie.
There's only one part I don't like. There's later on. And you know what part that is.
Nah, but tell me when we get there. Okay.
Oh, I gotta make sure you bring it up. It's the snake part.
Snake part.
So my man brings a snake to the ring.
Oh, why am I forgetting? Anyway, it's not in the first half.
Lord have mercy.
I know I've been hitting the head too many times, so it's all right. I'll be all right, everybody. Don't worry about it. All right, next thing. Ruben doesn't believe they're going to get the money if they get down there. And then Jill decides to leave. Nick is talking to her. The phone rings. Ruben answers the phone. He's talking to someone. Then he hangs up, and then he tells Cheryl, "We need to talk." So obviously, that just lets us know that he got the call. They're gonna honor that $3,000 for him, and he just accepted it. That they're gonna come down there to fight. Next thing we see Nick and Ruben getting in the car. And Nick asked, did you tell Cheryl? And he said he just kind of said, like, I kind of told her, right. He didn't, I guess he misled her a little bit about what was going on and what they're about to do. So they jump in the car and go to Mexico, and they stop to get something to eat. They're eating some type of burger or something. Nick didn't seem like he liked it too much. Yeah, because he gave it to Ruben, like, hey, here, eat this. I'm about to go to the bathroom. So He obviously didn't want it. And then that's when another goon pops up. This guy, he says, Ruben Patterson, and Ruben says, who wants to know, or something to that effect. And then next thing you know, the guy pulls a knife out, and Ruben snaps. And then this is our first chance we get to see that Ruben got some issues going on in his head. Because he beats this guy up. He beats this guy up. He beats him bloody. He does not stop punching him.
I don't understand why Nick was upset with him.
I think he was. He came, when Nick came out the bathroom, he broke it up, and he was saying that you don't have to hit him after the first hit or something, like you have to keep hitting him because Ruben snapped. I guess it was that Cobra Kai John Creech training that he had, because he beat that guy to a pulp. And Nick was a little upset, and he was looking at Ruben like he was a little bit worried that Ruben was changing.
I ain't mad at him. Somebody pulling a knife on me, they better stab me.
Well, yeah, the next scene, we see them driving to Mexico. They arrive at the arena. They get to the locker room. Your boy, the henchman, he takes them back to the locker room and gives them some pants to wear. And the reason I said give them some pants to wear, because the pants have colors on them. And that signifies what team you're on. So I think they had, I didn't write this down, but I think they had on red, like black and red.
Red. They had on black and red.
Okay. Then we get a shot of the inside of the arena. We see some important people come in. I'm assuming these were the team owners who come into the arena, and they sitting on these big thrones watching the fight. They were looking like some bosses. Yeah. Ruben looks out. There's like a little what was that? What do you call that thing?
Like a vent.
Yeah, like a vent.
A grated vent almost, but with no grate. It was louvered.
Right. Ruben looks out and he sees the fight going on. And he looked a little nervous. And Nick tells him, like, I told you that this wasn't your type of fighting, And then the henchman guy comes in again and gives them the rules. I'm gonna run down the rules real quick. Basically, it's not too many rules inside of the ring, but there are rules outside of the ring. Okay, so this is for the whole tournament. There are 4 team owners. Okay, all who have their own stable of fighters. Each team has their own color. So like we said, Ruben and Nick had black and red. So there were some other colors like yellow and black, and it might have been a green and black. I can't remember the other one. Number two, you must win 4 matches in order to qualify for the finals in January. So I think this was May. I think they had said something earlier in the movie that this was May. So you know this is going to be a little lengthy process, but it didn't seem like that while watching the movie. Right. You know, we didn't see any holiday scenes or anything like that. So he tells them that if you lose, you're out of the tournament, but you're still going to make all of your money. The third rule, if you qualify for the finals and show up with a championship, there can be only one champion. Prize is hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you'll be set for life. And then, number 4, you can't quit at any stage. You can quit at any stage except for the finals. The fighters who make it to the finals must finish. And then Ruben, he wanted to know some more clarification about how to win a match. He wanted to know, was it a 3 points or a knockdown? Right. And then he says, well, basically, in order to win, your opponent has to be unconscious. And that's it.
This shit cracked me up, though.
What part?
The part. We're not to it yet. But okay. When somebody would get knocked out, the ref would pull up their eyes.
Yeah.
Check for the Undertaker eyes.
Matter of fact, he did that to Nick because Nick is the first fight. Nick goes out and he bows to his opponent. As soon as he bows, his opponent just hits him with a knee. Bow. His opponent gets a couple shots in on him. Nick is down. The ref goes over and checks on him, but he's okay. He gets back up and he hits his opponent with some strikes, and then he knocks him out. And then he comes back to the locker room. Ruben asks how he did. He said, I won. Then he tells Ruben to be careful. Ruben goes out. He's doing okay. He's fighting his guy. His guy ends up taking him down to the ground. Is this the jiu-jitsu guy you was talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he had him in like an arm triangle.
Yeah.
And he was doing like jiu-jitsu maneuvers, and the film was in 93 and they're pretty smooth. So.
Right. Okay. So then he goes down, but then he ends up knocking the guy out with a sidekick. He takes the guy out. Okay. So they both won. Then the owner of the team, the next scene, the owner of the team comes into the locker room to see them, tells them that they qualify for the next level. If they want to continue, then they'll be awarded $10,000. Now, Mike, so they just won 3. So now the guy comes in and tells you your next fight you can win $10,000. You still saying you're gonna be out? That's $13,000 you're going home with.
Listen to me when I tell you this. No one is punching me as hard as they can and some bare knuckles and some tonfas or whatever they want for $13,000.
But you don't know that at that time. You don't know that's what's gonna happen.
Listen, if somebody is willing to pay $13,000, win or lose, and it's in a foreign country, no. I'm with Nick. I'm with Nick.
Okay, let me ask you this, Mike. Mike, would you take a punch from Mike Tyson? $1 million.
No.
$1 million? Yeah, $1 million.
Is he hitting me with a hook or a straight punch?
It don't really matter. It's $1 million.
The fuck it don't. What you mean it don't matter? A hook or a straight punch?
I mean, you're gonna wake up in the hospital.
Straight punch.
You're gonna wake up in the hospital $1 million richer.
Okay, I'll take a straight punch. A jab. That's about it.
Taking a hook. It's gonna hurt regardless. It don't matter.
Hit my ear and kill me or something. Hit my man.
Both punches are going to knock you the fuck out. It don't matter.
A jab, I might lose like my teeth, break my nose, something like that. I might survive that. Ain't no way in hell. Even him and Evander talking about fighting again. No way in hell. Even at 53, Mike Tyson, I'm not letting him hit me in my head. I'm not letting nobody hit me in my head for any amount of money, man. No amount of money. No.
$1 million.
No.
$1 million.
I would die. I would be that 1% of person that dies.
I'll take a knockout for me. Somebody has got to change the direction of my family, and I will take one for the team, and I'll get my $1 million. And Champ will be okay.
Yeah, your family would change and you'd be dead. So shit. All right, go ahead.
I ain't gonna be dead, man. I'll be all right. Ain't nothing. I mean, $1 million, man. I can do some
Do you know who
reconstructive
Dooku
surgery.
Kim is?
No, what is it? Dragon Ball Z or
So
something?
he died in the ring fighting Ray Boom Boom Mancini, and these are 154 pounders.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Hey man, stuff happens,
Get back to the movie, man. That's crazy talk.
All right,
No
we
way.
get down to the end of the first half of this movie. So
I love this movie.
So then Ruben says, instead of the 10,000, Ruben says 15. Give us $15,000 each, and they say okay. Wow. Then they wanted to know about their money for the night. They ended up the henchman ended up giving them their money, their $3,000 each. Next scene, they're in the hotel room. Ruben is throwing up money like he in the club. He's happy. He's good. But he has an adrenaline rush going on. But Nick feels a little bit funny. He's feeling like how you feeling. He feels like something ain't right. He feels like they being set up. Like they're not being told something. Ruben, he looks at him seriously, like, don't mess this up. Because remember, Ruben has to pay back those rednecks.
Yeah.
So he got the 3,000 now. He's going to fight for 15,000. That's 18,000, man. Man, he could pay the rednecks off, and then he still has something left over.
Listen, man, I live in Northeast Indiana. I walk down the street and I'm seeing people like that. There ain't no way in hell. No. They're just gonna owe me some money, or they're gonna try to fight me each time because they're.
Hey, you just knock them out anyway. You just beat them up anyway.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not taking no shots.
So Ruben doesn't want this to get messed up. He doesn't want the rednecks hassling Cheryl. And he asked Nick if he's.
I understand that. Now, if it was like to defend my
family
already, or something like that,
they already threatened to get a piece of her. They already said they didn't want to get a piece of her. So. They were, they were sick.
Right.
Nick calls, Ruben calls him to talk to Cheryl to tell them, I guess he's about to come clean now, and tells her what they've done, that they won tonight, and they were going to stay a couple more days. He thought that she was going to be happy. She wasn't. She was pissed. She was really upset what they had gone to do. And I guess he told her everything because she talks to Shingo later. So her and Jill are talking, and she tells Jill that what the boys have been doing down in Mexico. Then they leave. Cheryl and Jill go to the restaurant. Cheryl sits down to talk to Shingo, and then she also asks Shingo for help with the classes since Ruben is going to be away.
Right. That's what made me think that he's not part owner.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I guess he just has the restaurant next door to the karate school, I guess.
Right.
So that seemed cool. So as they're talking, she tells Shingo that Ruben and Nick went down to Mexico and got involved in shoot fighting, and then Shingo looks bothered by this.
Yeah, he knows the deal.
Yeah. Shingo gets up. He goes into the kitchen. There's a woman in there. I don't know if it was his wife or whatnot. She was someone of importance to him. She asked him why he looked so upset, and he pretty much, I'm paraphrasing here, people, because they were talking, it must have been in Chinese, because we had subtitles going on. I wasn't about to write all that down. But he tells her what's happened, and she tells him it was their choice to go down there, and then Shingo says that he feels responsible for what has happened. And that's where we're going to stop for the first half of Shoot Fighter. Man,
that was a long movie, though. But it goes by quick. I was in it.
Yeah, I was too the whole time. This was, I probably really, really would have been into this movie a lot if I had seen it as a kid. Like, this is one of the movies, like, I could watch this over and over. How did you find the movie, Mike?
Because Mr. Bernardo was in it.
No. I mean, right now for us to review it. How did you find it?
It's on YouTube.
Yes, that's how I saw it. So I didn't know if you got it off Amazon, if you already had it or whatnot, but it's on YouTube. So if you're watching it, you guys want to see it also, just go right to YouTube, type it in, and you'll find it and enjoy it and get back with us and let us know what you think of it. So, Mike, that's the end of ShootFighter for the first half.
Good movie.
Yes. I want to get into a couple other topics. We got a few more minutes left here on the podcast.
Okay.
This is what I've been thinking about a little bit. Tournaments. I feel, and I felt this way for a long time, I felt there needs to be some type of upgrade or change to tournaments. Something. They're done the same way. They've been done the same way for forever. I think I would like for this activity to go to the next level in some form or fashion. I think one of the things that could help is, well, one of the things that we used to talk about with my uncle, we used to always say that we wanted sport karate to be on TV, ESPN. Especially growing up in the 90s, we ain't really didn't see karate on TV. It was not sport karate. And when we did see it on ESPN, it was always forums. I never saw fighting on TV. And one of the things he used to always say was the average person wouldn't get it. The average person wants to see knockout like in kickboxing or
He's right.
regular boxing. He is right to a certain extent, because I think that whenever I have introduced someone to sport karate, if I've taken them to a tournament, they have jumped into it and have really, really enjoyed themselves and gotten into the tournament when they're there. And you break it down and you explain stuff to them.
Let me ask you this, though. Did that person either, one, have a vested interest into wanting to get into the martial arts, or a vested interest in you personally?
No. I mean,
just
of course, me.
Random
friend.
No.
Right? Of course, me, yeah. But random
that's
friend,
what I'm
yeah.
saying.
But I wasn't fighting.
Here's the thing, though. This is where it's different.
It's not just one person.
Right, but this is the analogy I give.
Mm-hmm.
When UFC was on Buffalo Wild Wings, and even if someone had never thrown a kick, never thrown a punch, they would turn, and you're at Buffalo Wild Wings, they watch this guy's facing this guy, and he's either going to choke him or knock him out. Very easily. Anyone can understand that. Now, and everyone will watch it. Right? Even if there's people in there because I've been at the spot where there's been non-martial arts or UFC fans, and they sit and watch it and enjoy it. I can guarantee you, if they did that with a sport karate tournament, even a nighttime finals, and I'm just talking fighting, I'm not even talking forms, but we would have, but the fighting's going on, there will be somebody in that crowd asked to have that TV changed.
Probably so. I mean, but I've seen that with UFC fights too, though.
No. You understand that person is either supposed to get knocked out or choked out or submitted.
That's right, and I'm glad you said that.
And sport karate, there's too much left to perception for the judges.
But see, that's why I'm glad you're saying this, because that's my next point. I think that what we need is a reality show for sport karate, something similar to The Ultimate Fighter, where you get a chance to find out and enjoy the personalities of the fighters, number one. Number two, you get to learn the rules of sport karate. So now, and then also you have to have some type of entertainment value with the reality show. So it could be, somebody got some BS drama going on with their boyfriend at home or girlfriend at home. Somebody else, I don't know. It could be a bunch of different things. You have to, because I watch these reality shows, man, and like, who would have ever thought? I would have never thought in the 90s that right now there would be TV shows about barbecuing. That would have never happened,
That's
or
true.
Stuff like Dancing with the Stars. In the 90s, I would have never thought that those type of shows will become a reality.
But let me tell you why they're a reality and why they're on TV and why sport karate is not. Is because you're talking about barbecuing. There's no other barbecuing thing to compete with it. With our activity, there's full contact boxing, which is knockout, which is blood and guts, if you will. There's the UFC and MMA, blood and guts, if you will. There's too much for our sport to compete with, or our activity, if you will. And you would have someone invest in a reality TV show, and it'd be the same 300 people that watch a nighttime finals that's live streaming on a Saturday night.
Maybe so, but you take it small, and then you eventually grow. I think that if you had a reality show, you can explain that as a sport karate person, we fight every weekend. Okay, by doing that, we don't have to worry about concussions and getting knocked out. We don't fight to knock out because we want to be able to go out the next weekend and fight also.
And you're going to have all the viewers
that
are viewing saying you're not fighting.
And you can say that until somebody. I'm not talking about even TV. Okay, we have something now called the internet. Okay, which we didn't have before. There could be a show that is produced for the internet, for a reality show, for Hulu, for I don't know about Netflix. Netflix is too big, but maybe YouTube or whatever. I think if people creative got together, put their heads together, they can come up with a better way to help expand our fan base for this sport and for this activity, which eventually can help change the climate of the karate tournament. Because if you get more people watching this reality show, getting interested in sport karate, now we can get sponsors, bigger sponsors, to invest in tournaments. We can change some things in tournaments. Now that we have money, we can start paying for judges because we have big sponsor money. Okay, now we can start paying fighters more than just $1,000 to show up to fight. We can change the climate of the tournaments, but first we have to do is expand the audience and the fan base, and then that helps change the tournaments.
Yeah. So I agree with you, and I wish it would, but I just for so many years. It's going to take
some creative people putting their heads together, and who knows, maybe in 10, 15 years, who knows?
The key, though, is like you said, is to gain the audience. Because even with, like our company, we can sponsor, and we got quite a budget, certain events, but there has to be a reward for me to sponsor, right. And the reward comes from, having the audience and having the people that, might use your product or what the case may be, or, right. Use your business. I wish, I hope it happens in my lifetime just because, I love it and it's been my life. So I'm not trying to be negative Nancy, but I just think it's a hard road. Is someone like your uncle or some of the other martial artists that are out there haven't done it yet? I mean,
I don't think it's going to come from the old school. I don't think it's
going to No. I'm just saying, but they've tried and thought, and have the ideas. It's just, it's going to be something new, and you're right. It's going to be with that, but my concern is we have to save tournaments.
20 years ago,
right now, 20 years ago, you would have.
20 years ago, we never would have thought that we would have had the UFC on TV, and now this last week we had 3 UFC events, one on pay-per-view, and the other 2 were on, was it ESPN or ESPN Plus or something like that? And they had the fight nights. I would have never thought that was going to happen 20 or 25 years ago. That was always looked at as too brutal. And it was the help of the Ultimate Fighter, which helped usher in a new way to change the rules and improve the sport altogether. And now they get a lot of money,
I just hope that something like that happens for 2 reasons. One, I've seen the numbers in karate tournaments dwindle tremendously from when we were kids.
Yes.
Both locally, regionally, and nationally. The other thing is, I even around here where I just moved, I've checked into some martial arts schools, and I see kids, rolling around doing MMA, and I have no problem with that if that's what they want to do. But, I still, to me, martial arts is for, the kids that need self-discipline, want to learn a self-defense. Martial arts
some structure.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of us. For the most part, we're all, have done very well in life, have careers, have education and things like that, and it comes from the discipline in martial arts school. And nothing bad about MMA gyms, and I hope people don't get offended, but I don't see them getting that. They're going in as kids, learning how to fight, and that's what they're doing. They're learning how to fight, and I want them to have that discipline,
Right.
and become better individuals than champions.
Right.
Like it's done for us. So
right. Couple more things I want to touch on, Mike, and then we are out of here. Number one. So it looks like some of the states are starting to open up now. People are starting to open up their schools. And I've been thinking about it also, man. I think because I teach at a community center, okay, so I have 2 locations. One gym in Bloomfield, and then also I teach in a community center in Detroit. Now, my community center that I teach at, I just rent out the space and I do whatever I want. But I think what I'm going to do is I might just have all of my classes outside this summer because we teach at a park. I teach at a park and I have, a bunch of grass, so I can easily space out my students in order to run my classes. And I don't really want to
I think that's a great idea.
I don't really want to deal with the headache, man, of dealing with the community center and having to get up there an hour early because I got to lay the mats now. And I have to mat the floor out, but I have to get there an hour. It takes me an hour to lay the mats down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real pain. It's a real pain. But I'm thinking about just doing it outside. Because I was listening and seeing people open up their schools, and I was trying to debate about if I wanted to do that myself. And then I was thinking about gyms also, man. Like gyms are not. I don't mean karate schools, but like health club gyms, man. I don't know how they're going to be able to handle keeping those places clean. I mean, because gyms are not a clean place at all.
No. So like, you got like your Lifetime Fitnesses in the Metro Detroit area, think about their sauna rooms. There's going to be absolutely no sauna rooms. There cannot be. There's no way.
Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, now if you got kids in the car, you might want to fast forward or pause this or listen to this when you're by yourself. I'm about to tell you guys some stuff. I worked at some gyms. I've worked at just about all the big gyms, right? Back in 2001, I was working at a gym that's open 24/7. And speaking of saunas, I was working the late night crew, and we caught a man and a woman in the sauna participating in some adult activities. Now, of course, the gym finds out, yeah, man, and they ended up kicking these people out. They were in the sauna, okay? And I had to go in there and clean that mess up.
That's nasty, man.
I had to go get the hose and hose down the sauna, right?
Oh,
they both
man.
lost their membership, right? That's one club. The second club I worked at, I was a sales rep, and a guy comes to me, right? I was not a manager at this time. I was a sales rep. The manager, the assistant manager, and the other higher up salespeople, they were all on tours. They were working with potential buyers, right? Guy comes up to me and tells me, "Hey man, you need to do something." I said, "What's the problem, sir?" He says, I just got out of the shower and he was wet. He had his clothes on, but he was wet. And he says, there's a guy in the showers was following me. And I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "It's a pervert. It's a pervert in the locker room. You need to go handle that before I handle it." And I said, "Okay." I go into the locker room and he follows me. He says, "That guy right here." I said, "What's going on, man?" He said, "Nothing." He was a foreign guy. He said, "Nothing. He's hurrying up trying to put his stuff on." I said, "Are you bothering this guy?" He said, "No, I'm not bothering him." He said, "Man, this guy was in the shower across from me, watching me as I was showering, and he was pleasuring himself." I said, "What?"
Oh.
And he said, "Yeah." So he said, I went to the next shower. The guy got out the shower and got into the next shower directly across from him again. The guy went to 3 showers. The guy's following him. So, yeah. So I said, "Sir, I can't have that. I need to report you." And he says, "No." I said, "All right." I see his first name, but he wouldn't give me his last name. So I was just going to go look him up in the system and then write a note for my manager or whatever. So then I go back to the front. The guy who made the complaint followed me. He sits down. I'm trying to write the complaint out. The guy comes out the locker room, and I'm trying to stop him. He does not stop for me. And he goes out into the hallway. I said, well, I'll write a note, sir, and I'll pass this on to my manager. And the guy said he just stands up, walks outside, because this club was in a mall. So then he stands outside and he points at the guy and says, the next time I see you, I'm going to fuck you up. The guy must have said something back to him because that brother takes off running after him. At this point now, I don't care. They're outside, they're in the mall. It's not my problem no more.
Wow.
Right. So then
did he give him the work?
I don't know. They was in the mall. I ain't care.
You just literally went back and said,
I literally did not give a care no more. I filled the report out, the incident report, gave it to my manager, said that's it. This is the member that made the complaint. I just got the first guy's name, and that's it. And then I sent maintenance back this time to clean that. Those shower stuff. Because at this club, they had no curtain. There was no curtain. No.
Oh, so he knew he was what he was doing.
Yes, he was watching him. He's looking him in his eyes. He's looking at him in his eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So then I leave that club, go to the next club. Now I'm assistant manager down in Woodhaven at this club, right? I'm in my office. I'm working. One of the maintenance guys come in and says, Eugene, we got a problem. So what's the problem? He says, I just opened the steam room door and I caught 4 men in here being adults. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, 4 men. So I said, don't give me this. Don't bring this to me. I don't want to deal with this. Go tell such and such. She's the manager. She's on duty. Yeah. So they were all married men. All 4 of them. All 4 married men. The maintenance guy did not want to go back in there and clean. I'm like, dude, you got to. This is your job.
Me never want to be in a steam room or sauna.
Man, steam room, sauna, showers. We at one point in time, they had some type of solution that the showers are nasty, man. Showers are nasty. And at one of the clubs I worked at, they could tell if someone has done something in there. Yes, there's some type of solution, and that would change something's colors. Yeah, so gyms are nasty. I don't understand with what's going on now, like how they expect to keep this stuff clean enough where I feel comfortable when it was already a whole bunch of other stuff going on in gyms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
man. I mean, we're open down here, but our gyms aren't open yet because they're only limiting to 50. So the gyms aren't open yet. That's the only thing that's not open yet down here.
Yeah, I
went back to work Monday. So
okay. I don't know how gyms, like I know karate schools can be a little bit creative. Maybe you can have a rotating schedule where, Mondays, Wednesdays, a certain amount of students come in, Tuesday, Thursday, certain amount of other students come in. And then maybe if you have more than that, maybe the other kids who can't come make one of those other days, maybe they can do some virtual classes or something like that. We can get creative with it. But gyms and health clubs, I have no idea how they're be able to, deal with this.
I think it's going to be a long time for gyms.
Yeah, most definitely. I did have one other topic.
I don't. Let me just finish on this about it. I don't think kids will go back to school on time.
I said that too. I don't think so. I don't see how they can. It's not enough. I believe personally. I believe right now that there has been either a vaccine or some type of treatment. It's available. I mean, not available, but they have created it. But you have to have so many people go through the trials to see what are the side effects that can happen. You just don't want to create something and just give it to anybody. Next thing you know, you wake up in the morning, your ass is blue. You know what I'm saying? There has to be some type of trials, and I think that's what's going to take the year and a half, 2 years for all of that data to come back to let us know what's the side effects, what's going to make sure that people are healthy and safe with taking the medicine.
Yeah, so because I get on my soapbox about the vaccine, so I'm very opinionated with the vaccine. I've had 2 family members injured from vaccines, so I'm very opinionated, and I don't get on that soapbox often. But yeah, it's near and dear to my heart, so I'm kind of watching that like you said, and seeing what happens with that. So.
Yeah, man, we just gotta be safe for the next 2 years, man. And like you said, man, like when it comes to schools, man, there's so many little kids going to schools, and most of the teachers in schools are older people,
Yeah,
older women.
I don't see it happening, man. I don't see it happening. Especially
Not
here.
in
They go back
September.
early here. They go
Okay.
back in
In
August.
August?
Second
Yeah.
week of August here.
No, most definitely, man. So it might be some distance learning. We never know. Come January, January it could be a year within it should make a year that we've all known about it. So there's no telling what can happen.
True.
But, this last topic I got, man, I think I'm just gonna say it because I know we over. I'll just say this for next week. It's kind of funny. We'll get to that next week. You got anything else for us, Mike?
No, man, that's it.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? That's it for this week. ShootFighter Part 2 is next week. And then we'll have some other topics we'll get into with you all. Don't forget, reach out to us on our social network links: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Anything else? Nothing else? That's it. All right. For our producer, Travis Plowden, and everyone on the Martial Arts Internet Network, you guys stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.